Don't overload your child with guilt. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting, good communications, and how to build strong family bonds all over the world through the principle of self-government. And in this video, we're talking about guilt and how to not overload it on the children. Children need to understand cause and effect, but do they have to experience guilt every single time they find out they've done something wrong? Well, the answer is no. So how do you help a child have a change of heart but not fall into a guilt trap? That's what we're talking about in this video. Guilt is not always a bad thing. In fact, I have a whole other video called Feeling Guilt is Good and Bad, so you might want to check that out. But guilt can actually be really productive. When a person experiences guilt with an optimistic attitude, that person actually can feel a desire to fix their wrongs. They can actually feel empowered to do something about their circumstance and make life better for themselves and other people around them. They can experience a change of heart. When a person recognizes they've done something wrong and then they feel a desire to fix that thing that they've done wrong, that actually shows that their heart has changed, that they recognize a difference between right and wrong, good and bad, true and false. They know that they want to be on the side of good, right, and true every time, so they are going to change their ways. In fact, that is actually the condition of a heart that a person has when they are a self-governing person. So I love the concept of self-government, obviously. I mean, look at the name of this channel and my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. I love self-government. So what is self-government? Self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. That means that you say, this is the type of person I ought to be, and I'm going to make a plan on how I think I can become that type of a person. And then when I follow through with the plan and it doesn't go exactly right because, well, I'm a person, I'm human, I'm going to fail and make mistakes, then I go, oops, I think I need to make a change. My heart has a change right then. Instead of being prideful and making excuses for what I did that was wrong, I am honest with myself and I decide to fix my problem and keep moving forward toward my desired goal. That is what it means to be self-governed, and that is what it means to have a change of heart. And guilt, a healthy, productive kind of a guilt, can lead a person down that self-government path. So how do you help a person experience guilt productively instead of non-productively? Because sometimes when a person experiences guilt, they start to think of themselves as bad. They start to think and project into other people's minds that they don't like me. They saw that and now they're not going to be my friend, or they're not going to love me or care about me because I did this thing. Oh, they'll kill me because I did this. You know, those thoughts that people think inside their heads, extreme thoughts, all emotional thoughts, and thoughts that aren't necessarily true. They're not charitable thoughts that give people the benefit of the doubt. They're actually selfish thoughts that lead a person to go into themselves in a dark type of a way that leads to self-loathing. We do not want a person to experience guilt in that way, which is why it's important that we don't overload guilt on a person. Because when you are telling a person that they've done something wrong time and time again, then that person starts to think that they can't do anything right. So if you are overloading your child with feelings of guilt, if you're trying to get them to feel a certain way, then you might be leading to a negative processing of that guilt. And we definitely don't want to go down that road. And by the way, I suppose I should bring up husbands and wives and friends and coworkers. We shouldn't be nagging them, bringing up things they've done, throwing salt into the wound. We should instead help a person see optimistically that they can move forward, which means we have to be forgiving. You know what that means? That you can't take stuff personally. So we're going to talk about how to not take things personally so that you can help other people and not overload guilt. And we're going to talk about key strategies that you can use to create an environment where it doesn't feel like every time somebody does something wrong, it's the worst thing that ever happened. But first, do you see how there's that button that says subscribe? That button is for you. When you click it, you get to see more videos. And if you click the notification bell, you will get notified when new videos come out. So subscribe now. So when we're correcting our children, which needs to happen, in fact, I'm always talking to parents about being consistent when you are correcting your children, because they do need to learn cause and effect, which means they need that consistency. But I also talk about not overloading unnecessary criticism. Wait a minute, does that mean that there is necessary criticism? Oh, absolutely. If a person never gets to experience criticism, then they will become very fragile. In fact, they will think they have to control how they feel and everybody else's words around them all the time. They might even soon choose not to want to be with people because they don't want to feel their feelings or hear their words, because that might be self-deprecating to them. What we want to do is help a person understand how to accept criticism and how to accept that feeling of, oops, I might have done something wrong, or, oh, I need to make a change, but not do it in a way where they start to question their value or even damage their relationships. One of the key things that a good parent does if they're going to help their children understand how to accept the feeling of guilt sometimes is to teach them key skills. In this book, Parenting a House United, I talk about 4 basic skills that parents can teach their children to learn self-government. Those 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers in criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. And just so you know, these 4 children's books teach those 4 basic skills to children. You'll still want the parent book, though, Parenting a House United, because it teaches you how to handle problems when they don't actually do these 4 basic skills. So let's talk about these 4 basic skills then. When a person recognizes that they've done something wrong, that's probably going to be a situation where they are experiencing criticism or what feels like somebody telling them no. I call that a no answer. The children's book Porter Earns a Quarter teaches how to accept criticism and no answers. That's the same skill set for both of those unique circumstances, because when you experience criticism, it feels kind of like somebody is telling you, no, you did something wrong. To teach a person to do the skill of accepting no answers and criticism, you do these 4 things. Look at the person or the situation. Keep a calm face, voice, and body. Say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, if possible, and then drop the subject. This is empowering. If I run a race and I lose, drop the subject. Stay calm, say okay, drop the subject. If I turn in a paper and get a bad grade, stay calm, say okay, drop the subject. It's a very powerful skill. No matter what I do that's wrong or any mistake I make, I can learn to look at it as if it is just a simple no answer in life. Stay calm, say okay, drop the subject. So there is another one of the 4 basic skills that is really important for being able to accept guilt as well. And that skill is accepting consequences. When a person learns to accept a consequence, that means they are willing to accept that they have done something wrong and that there are possible consequences to that action, and they will accept those consequences and be fine. Whoa, that's a huge skill. To accept consequences is to truly have an honest heart and to be self-governing. When a person accepts consequences, they look at the person or the situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body, sound familiar, say okay or disagree appropriately, and they do whatever consequence they earned, they check back and drop the subject. Parents, praise your children. Praise them 6 to 10 times for every one time that you correct them, so that everything isn't negative all the time and doesn't feel like you're overloading them with negative interactions. When you praise your children more often than you correct your children, that's going to make it so that it doesn't feel like you're overloading them with circumstances that they have to accept. But when you do correct them, prepare them to accept the corrections by teaching them to accept consequences, and prepare them for disappointments and criticism in life by teaching them how to accept no answers and criticism. And just so you know, there's other great skills that they're also going to need, I guarantee, which are following instructions and disagreeing appropriately. But also, correct your children in a way that is calm and connected too. Do you know that when you correct your children, it doesn't have to feel negative? It's true. You should feel closer to your children during and after a correction than you even did before. When you correct your children, you should look at them with calmness and security, letting them know, we're correcting something right now, but it's totally fine. I have no problem correcting this, because you'll have a tone of calmness, a tone of acceptance, and the right words to say that decrease their anxiety because they increase predictability in all of your teaching. Learn the skills that you need for success. Now, if you want to know more about skills, I recommend going to my Calm Parenting Toolkit. So on my website, I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit. And in the description below this video, you can get the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free by clicking on the link that says teachselfgov.com/toolkit. Click on that link now and get the Calm Parenting Toolkit for free. The Calm Parenting Toolkit will give you 10 tools that you can use to stay calm, to help them be calm, and to have more deeply connected and understood corrections with your children so that you are not overloading the guilt feelings at your house. So click on the link now. I'll see you there.